Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Trader Minute. It's great to have you on board. I'm Carl. Thanks for tuning in this afternoon. Let's just wrap the day up here. We're looking at the markets, holding in there up about 9 points. This is the second gap up in a row. Not a very big one on Friday, but a slight one there on Friday. Run higher up in the upper Bollinger Band. The market doesn't like to spend too much time in the upper Bollinger Band or the lower for that matter. When it gets there, it doesn't. Oops. Let me zoom in on the right screen here. Over here, I remember this time period when it gapped down here in the lower Bollinger Band. This was pretty amazing. 3 days in a row is about all you're ever going to see. Went out for one day and hit a fourth back there. But typically, when the market gets in the upper bands like this, it doesn't stay very long. What over here we got 3 days in a row, 4 days in a row, which is again pretty rare. Really one day here it was right along the side of it. A couple days here, but that's the upper Bollinger Band. Doesn't mean it's just going to roll over and die. Odds are just some bullish consolidation during the holidays here, but there's going to be some plenty of good trades to make. Usually, the end of the year is bullish for the market, with about January. I'm sorry, not January. December 31st. The market's trading on a shortened day. That day historically is a little bit lower, but nothing major. And then when January hits, then you're going to start hearing about the January effect. And they'll say if the market's up in January, that means it'll be up by the end of the year. Yeah, it has a decent track record, but I don't always buy into that kind of stuff. Just watch it; it's interesting to see. But I just trade by what I'm seeing at the time. So our two positions today, we've got Boeing. It's rolled over. It's got down about 9 cents. Okay, technically, is there any big bearish sign here? No. It's still right up there at the highs of last Friday, not the highs, but where it closed last Friday. It's still above the upper Bollinger, still above the 7-day moving average here. Our stop is 133 to 134, and we can move that at this point. We can move it to 135, a buck higher there. I still don't see any big bearish signs here, even though it's rolled over a little bit. I was showing you this a little while ago when I was on a lot of stocks, not just Boeing, not just Chesapeake, which is off the highs as well. Almost most of the stocks that I'm seeing that were up this morning have rolled over. They're off the highs. And we're just seeing the same thing on our two positions. You look at Chesapeake, it's up 34 cents. Is it showing any weakness? No, just a little bit of a sell-off here in the afternoon. Still above the 7, still in that upper Bollinger Band. We got into this on a vibe bull signal, but yeah, could we raise the stop? Well, the stop could be down there at the 7, which is up a little bit from where we got in. Overall, this is just, if you're looking at this being a consolidation, it's bullish consolidation, just going up, if not slightly sideways, letting that 7 catch up with it, and the odds are a run higher. And the same with Boeing. It's got up this area. It just kind of going sideways here since Friday's, and that's fine. Let the 7 catch up. We're looking for a break way up into the 145 area. So I know there's been a lot of talk on this on the chat today, and that's fine. But I don't see any big strong weaknesses here. If it rolls over and goes back below 135, we'll exit and move on. But right now, the odds still favor the bulls. Okay. Bank of America. Um, who was it? Martin. Yeah, Martin brought this up. I like this one too. And thanks, John, for chiming in as well. Yeah, it's a good looking setup. We've talked about bullish consolidation. Well, here you go. One huge push up here on Fed Day last Wednesday, and it's kind of gone up, if not slightly sideways, maybe down a little bit on Friday. Overall, just kind of sideways. Let that 7 catch up with it, and the odds of a break higher. So let's draw it in there. So let's say that 7 continues to come up, some manner like this, and then the stock slowly consolidates like this towards it, and then you get a push here like this up through that area right there would be very strong bullish continuation here of likely to go up to new highs above the $16 range. But yeah, I mean, a very strong looking chart. Could you jump in here? Yeah, you got a little bit. It's the 7's down about 25 cents below it. And there's not much risk there. as far as it's popping back 25 cents, but trying to anticipate a move higher. I couldn't argue it. I was trying to anticipate one there on FedEx for a little while, and it eventually just popped from one day to the next, and this is likely to do the same thing. Uh, it, okay, so yeah, I couldn't argue that. Just a quick run through the top three again. We had WNR, yeah, still up there at the highs of the day. Still a nice, this is a vibe bull as well as a trend rider bull signal. Big volumes on Fridays. You don't always need the volumes here, but today it's decent volumes considering the lighter volume time of year that it is. A very strong looking signal. This one was not a top three, but Tesoro is another one that I really like in the same group. They're moving really well. Tesoro and then Valero, VLO. Yeah, this one's just getting stronger as we're speaking here. Gap higher and running up in the upper Bollinger Band. Another strong move. All three of those charts look really good. Technically, the best for me was the one from the top three, the WNR, Western Refinery. It just had a lot going for it. A breakout of the ascending triangle pattern, push up above recent resistance there at 40, push above it, and a run above it, a gap slightly over it, and then a run higher. It's a good looking signal. The other one from the top three is General Motors. I like this one too. If this happened to close back down there at 41, then I would hesitate here. But really, a push here above 41 is a strong signal. It's going to have decent volumes on a lighter volume day. It's going to have decent volumes today. It ran below the 7 on Friday. Well, ran below over here. Thursday and Friday it ran below and then closed back above it. Today it once again ran below it and is running higher above that recent level of resistance there at 41. It's a strong looking technical signal, to take this up towards a 43, maybe the $44 area. Oh, good. Good, Martin. Okay. And then the last one is C-Trip, CTRP. And this is a trend rider bull signal. All right, still looking good up there at the highs. RSI breaking up through 50. We got expanding Bollinger Bands breaking up through a pretty big number there at 50. The volumes are going to be pretty decent. This big volume bar there is throwing off these, so they look really skewed. But the 50-day average there is that green line I have in there, and up towards that is going to be pretty decent volume. Nice looking signal here. Target here, 54. At this point, it's pushing up there so close to 52. Yeah, where is it sitting? 51.06. Yeah, about 54. What I would expect this one to run here with, in the next week or week and a half. Price target here, Slawic. I think I mentioned this. I'd put this up to the $44 range. I think 43 pretty doable for this, but 44 to maybe 45 even. This is going to be typically these are strong breakouts with WNR, and yeah, it's a nice looking setup. One stock that I was looking at was not in my top three, but Potash was one of the runner-ups. This is a trend rider bull signal. It's been channeling right here. It's still within that channel. The volumes it's pretty decent really. I mean, this major volume day here is, again, that's skewing this thing big time. But that's pretty decent volume for a lighter volume day. There's a good chance it could break out of the channel. There's also a decent chance that it might retest that. So get up here above the 33 area, consolidate, come back and retest that area right there. It just had some ifs here as to a price target on this one, so it didn't go in the top three. It looks like a strong technical signal, but just held it off my top three. And another one more on the radar, and bring this one up for around the top three, but this is a one for the radar. And you can see what's going on here. We got very tight Bollinger Bands. We watched FedEx, we watched Conoco, and and some others here recently, these really tight ranges like this. So this isn't a range, about $1 is all. Pretty tight range for a stock of this price. The longer it stays in that range like that, trapped in those bands, the bigger the breakout this is going to be. Is it going to break to the upside or the downside? It's almost a toss up. Right now it's up at the top right there, but it's been up there quite a few times and just gone back to the bottom. So this would be one you want to watch it and let it break into either the upper band or the lower band. Let it show you which way it's going to go, and that's to me the most conservative thing to do is to do that, because sometimes, man, they can come down here at hit the bottom, look like they're going to shoot right through, like we saw right here. This was last Wednesday. Most stocks look like this last Wednesday, though. We're down early and then shot higher, but it didn't break through. Okay, so this is going to be one of those. Watch it and let it show you which way it's going to get, and then yes, cricket. The spring's getting tight here. Um, Watch for it and see which way this is going to break. And then when they get a breakout here, $2 one way or the upper is pretty doable. To break down to or to break up to on that breakout would it'd be nice. It'd be a nice setup. So it's one more to keep on the radar. And always got a list of stocks here that I'm watching for these type of breakouts, and I'll throw them out there to you when I see them. Some other stocks around the market. Facebook, man, just a very strong looking chart, up about 5% today. If you're in the trade, no need to run. It's closing in the upper Bollinger Band here today. Just watch it. There's no big warning signs here. I hear you, Slawik. Bed Bath and Beyond. There's another channel. It's about, if you want to look at the exacts, it's maybe a $2.50 channel. Really, I would look more of it as about a $3 channel. It doesn't close up in those ranges, but that's the channel I would give it. But same thing, yeah, you got to watch it and wait for that breakout and let it show you. Let it kind of show you its hand before you go out and jump into it. Is there any signs right in here that the breakout might be coming? Not really. It just kind of looks the same here that we've seen. I look at some bottoms there, right? Some bottoms going up. There was right here. Didn't make it out. Got kind of the same thing here. The bottom's getting a little bit higher here, but it's almost the same things we've seen here in the past. So, really there's not anything suggesting a nice big breakout here. Even when here the volumes were pretty good on this day right there. That was last Wednesday, of course. But everything points back to last Wednesday. Big volumes. It looks like it's going to break out and never did. The low's a little bit higher at this point, you could say, but it was a little bit higher over here too and never broke out. So who knows how long that's going to go, but eventually when that breaks, you'll see this up probably over 80 or down here towards the 75 level, possibly 74. Yeah, 74, right around that way. So, yeah, Crick, I'd agree. It could go a lot further. And just throwing out some pretty conservative things that this thing could really run. FDX, it's up higher earlier. This is kind of like Boeing a little bit. Gaps higher is one down a little bit. Technically, there's no resistance. I mean, resistance. There's no uh, bearish arguments here. Very light volume, kind of like in Boeing. Both very, very light volume on the selling. Even lighter than the lighter volume days that we're seeing. This is for FedEx is 1.2 million with half an hour, 20 minutes left in the day. That's some of the lowest we've seen here since way back first part of December. So nothing to worry about there. I'm just reading some of the comments here. And some of them I've already gone beyond, so I'm not sure. what I was looking at when they were put in there. Yeah, with Boeing, yeah, we're gonna hold here. It's up 2 cents. It's just gonna close flat today. There's no reasons to get nervous and run on it. We'll move our stop up here to 135. Now that the sevens come up a little bit, move the stop to 135 instead of the 133 to 134 range. Put the stop there. No, I mean, I just don't see any big signs of weakness coming in here. Now, a move back below 135, then yeah, But these trades, when we set them up like this, what you got to do is let the plan play out. If it hits our stop, we get out. If it goes higher, and we stay in, and go towards a price target. All right, so yeah, there's no big signs here of any type of technical damage at all. Wow, yeah, Wick. Someone said it right, and maybe it was you, Wick. You put beast on this thing. Yeah, yeah, whoever put that in there, yeah, that's a good word for this. And reminds me, was in the scouting program for a while as a leader, and one of my scouts in there, that was his big word, was beast. I mean, if something cool happened, it's like, oh, beast. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Anyways, yeah, this is in beast mode, breaking up through 90. If you're in the trade, good job. Um, you could stay in, but it's getting quite a ways off from the seven here. It's still in the upper Bollinger Band. In fact, it's a little bit above the band. Just some chance of consolidation, but it's likely to be bullish consolidation and just back towards the seven. That's what I'd be looking for if I'm not in it. Let that seven catch up with it somewhere, and then play a run higher. So, yeah, I just can't argue there with 3D. Speaking of anything triples, here's 3M, and 3M, gets a long ways away from the seven. Okay, and what we've seen here at Gravestone with not any follow through. Another day, pretty sideways, if not up slightly. This If this goes on for a few more days, that seven will be up with it here, and then I don't know if it's going to allow us to do this. It might take off beforehand, but if you get a push up off the seven and a move like that, then there it goes, 140 all written all over it. It's so strong right now. I don't know if it's going to let you do that, because even this volume today, look at this volume here. It's strong volume, not as strong as the last some of the days last week, but still, this is strong volume on a lighter volume period here today, right up there at the 50-day average in volume. So yeah, another great looking chart. Okay, with Chesapeake up 31 cents. Again, nothing here, no damage, no technical damage. It's still right there. We're not gonna trade any today. I've talked to Jeff this afternoon and John, and we might make a move tomorrow. Put a new trade on tomorrow, but today we're going to hold everything we got. The trade we're thinking of doing tomorrow, you'll find out. Jeff will probably be talking about it maybe tomorrow during the morning sometime, of what we're thinking on doing, of maybe the last part of the day. But it's very tonight was not a critical time to enter it. So look for a possible new trade entry tomorrow, and Jeff will be talking about that. Let's go take a look at some of the other ones. I know have been on our minds. Baidu down $1.11. This is kind of like it's off the highs. It's pulled back a little bit, but technically it's still above the seven. This is one watch. It's still above the seven, still above 170. Odds still here favor a breakup off the 170 level. And a lot of stocks in the same group doing the same thing today. And a strong group right now, by the way, too. So I still think this one is likely to go higher. If it goes back below the seven, then get out. Costco. So like a lot of the other stocks, is up, pulled back a little bit, but still above the seven here. Still going to close at basically the close of last Friday. No technical damage. A close below 118 here is where I'd give this one. A close below 118 would make me nervous to the downside, but right now I think it'd be premature to get bearish on it at this point. Okay, and then FDX. And we looked at this a little while ago. The same thing, down 62 cents off the highs. There's no technical damage there at all. The odds still favor the bulls. And then a little look back further. TWX. This was top three from last Wednesday. It's still up there, still in that upper Bollinger Band. Oh, okay. All right, Martin. Um, Still in the upper Bollinger Band here. No technical damage off the highs, off the lows, as most stocks. And I see this one going up towards the $70 area. I don't know if anybody happened to jump in this one, but it's been going pretty good. And the other one on that day was Capital One COF. Looks much like TWX. Yeah, run higher. It's still in the upper Bollinger Band here. Volume's light, but so is most other things. Off the highs and the lows, still it could see a little bit of a consolidation at right around the $75 area, but there's no signs of weakness here at all on COF. And then the last one that we'll look at was AIG, and this was again from last Wednesday. So like most of them, is up, pulled back a little bit, but still there's nothing bearish here. And don't read too much into the volumes today. If there's strong volumes, that's it's just showing a lot of strength. If it's just going to be a little bit less than average, it's nothing to worry about as the volumes are kind of drying up out there. U.S. Steel. Oh, sorry, Jim. I'll get that one. Yeah, what a nice move. It struggled today. It went up and pulled back a little bit, but then now is running up here into the close. That's a good signal for this thing to run higher. A break of 29 is taking it to 30. It's one of the bigger numbers, multiple of 10. So when I say bigger number, that's what I'm usually meaning is a multiple of 10. That's where I'd expect a little bit of resistance there. But this is another group that has been showing a lot of strength. This one, an AKS. Let's look at AKS. Yeah, I mean, this is still looking good. It's off the highs. So thanks, Cricket. And off the highs, but still strong looking chart. If I was here, you're still in the upper Bollinger Band. You could stay until it closes below. And you know me, if you got a nice gain, you want to take it. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. In fact, that's how you make money. Is just taking those gains. Okay. I know there is. Oh, I know what I want to look at. I want to look at Apple again. Yeah. So this one was up, gapped higher, and then ran down a little bit during the day. But and we talked about it here, and a lot of the members and John just agreeing that with that deal, it kind of changes things here for Apple to the upside. And any dips are likely to be bought. It doesn't mean in one or 2 days. There still might be a little bit of a pullback. So that might take 2 to 3 days, but odds are this thing continues higher. That's a game changer here. And as we get closer to the first sales, and they're probably going to start to pre-order some phone sales. I know in the past they've done that and then they pulled it off. When they start to pre-order and some of those reports start coming out as to how many are being purchased, if you're in the stock and those start coming out, then there it goes. But nothing bearish here. Even on a gap like that, I don't think that gap's going to get filled unless some other type of news comes out. But this is some pretty big news for Apple. The other stock up pretty big today was Google. Let's see how this one's going to look to close today. Towards the highs. Good, Ken. I hope you're in that one. Towards the highs here, strong move. Well above the 7. But, with this one, if it does consolidate, I think it's just going to do it back towards the 1100 area. Might not even make it back that far. But I would just see more bullish consolidation here than anything. Some of these tech stocks seem to be doing really, really well in this type of a market. Some stocks that we've looked at here. This is AG, a silver. Let's look at some gold stocks. they're so far down off the right side. I have to scroll over to see them. Yeah, this one way down here at the bottom. This is gold core. And you can see the ascending triangle right here, which is in this case would be a bearish pattern. A breakdown below, it would have to move a little bit further than what it did today. The lows of today for me to say confirmation has come in on this pattern right there. But I moved down, right along that area right there. You saw kind of like that, and it closed that way. Very bearish. Take it down towards the 20, mid 19s on this one. And I don't think these gold stocks are done. Oh, sorry, Jim. I don't think the gold stocks are done. I still think there's going to be more downside there. So Dow Chemical had a nice run here today, up, and it's rolled over slightly. This would be a close inside the upper Bollinger Band. It's a nice run. Where's the 7? We're about $1 away from the 7. If you look at the last 2 days, so it got a long ways away from the 7 right here. Really, these 2 days got a long ways away from the 7. Just basically going sideways, up slightly. This is bullish consolidation. Another 2 or 3 days like this, and that 7 catches up with it. So the 7 comes, oops, wrong one. So the 7 comes up with it. Well, that's not a very nice 7, but and then you get a push up here off of this range on a nice little candle. Pushing off the 7 like that would be just take the stock much higher. It'd be another beautiful entrance signal. Netflix. Yeah, uptrend, definitely uptrend still intact here. Whenever I look at these trends, here's the trend line right through that area. And to me, to get bearish on, it's got to break that trend line and not just go below the 7. But this thing hasn't been below the 7 since way back here, first part of December. It comes down to it, gets close to it, looks like it's going to break like here was last Wednesday, like most stocks, down and then reverse pretty big. Yeah, it's still there. It's hitting 360. I'm sorry, 380 today, but no bearish signs here. It could consolidate. I mean, it's hit it for 1, 2, 3 days, and today's it looks like it's going to close right on it. But no, there's nothing bearish here. That trend still continues. It's kind of nice. You can use the 7 as a stop, and with it when they just trade that close to the 7, you got a nice stop right there. It's just kind of built in. I don't use program stops very often, but I just watch it because I'm here all day and I can make those trades if it looked like it was going to close below. But what would change the picture, the bullish picture here would be a close below the 7. But it doesn't mean it's going to change the trend. It's just the short term bullishness would be off for a little while. Chesby up 31. Yeah, VIX. Yeah, no problem. Get out. No biggie. Hope you got a little gain on that. The candle there on Netflix. It's just a little doji pattern. It's not even where it's up about $4. You're not going to see a doji, but if you look here, that's a doji pattern on Friday. Do they really do a whole lot? Dojis aren't the most accurate patterns. They just really, more than anything, represent an area of indecision. But today's price action here, if you look, and it's so tiny. Okay, they got these giant candles that are skewing things here, but so it jumped up over in this range, ran sideways for a few days, and today gapped higher and has run higher like that. It's a bullish sign. This thing's likely to run up through that next level. There's not really any big candle pattern there. If it was just a flat body there, it would be what's called a spinning doji, but still, with this nice of an uptrend, they're not going to mean a whole lot. There's a spinning doji right here and right here, to fairly close to spinning dojis, and it kept higher. You could probably look harder and find somewhere it might have gone the other direction, but no, there's nothing here that would suggest anything there. Boeing Dreamliner. You have to look into that, and see how that's going to play out. All right. Well, with Boeing, let's look at one last look at over at two positions here. Boeing down 20 cents. Technically, again, there's nothing here. We'll move our stop to 135. I just don't see any reason to make any type of a change here. And then with Chesapeake, up 31 cents. That's where it's going to close. We got about a minute left in the day. Nothing there either. I don't see any reasons to run. We're going to stick in both these positions. Okay. Darren, the black candle of death. Yeah, we should name our own chart patterns and candlestick patterns. We could come up with some good ones. Nice, Ken. KRE still running this afternoon. Yeah, it's look like it's going to close right up there at the highs of the day. Yeah, it's a good looking chart. It's got some steady volumes there. It's in the upper band. That's a nice looking stock. Good job, Ken. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. Have a great week. I'm going to be taking the next week off during the Christmas break. Jeff said, "Hey, Carl, why don't you take the week off between Christmas and New Year's?" So I agreed. So I'll see you guys again. I might be checking in within the next little while, within the next few days or so. The market's going to be open for a half a day tomorrow. It's going to close 3 hours early, 1 o'clock Eastern time. Close on Christmas Day, and then back open until the 31st of December. It'll be a shortened day as well, and then it'll be closed New Year's Day. Happy bowl season, everybody, to you sports fans, and we'll talk to you guys a little bit later on. Okay, thank you. Bye bye. Thanks, Ken. You too.